You've arrived at CozySideAudio, where dreams begin with a story. Tonight's tale is here to help you wind down and find peace. If this brings you comfort, please like, share, and subscribe so more dreamers can join us. Let the night carry you, and let's begin.
CozySideAudio presents How to Make a Ghost. Chapter 1, The Vessel. They told me the chamber would feel colder than the grave, but when I step inside, it is not cold at all. It is still. Stillness so deep it presses against my skin like another layer of flesh. My breath curls in the silence, heavy with salt. The air tastes faintly metallic, as though I'd bitten my tongue. Master Corvin doesn't follow me in. He lingers at the threshold, one hand gripping the iron frame of the doorway. His nails are dark with soot, as though he's been working the forges again, though he told me yesterday that the exam chamber hadn't been opened in years. His eyes catch mine briefly, gray and unwavering, and then he looks away, leaving me to face the stillness alone. The door shuts with a sigh. I hear the bolts slotting into place. No going back now. It takes a moment for my eyes to adjust. The chamber is not large, but the walls are carved from black basalt and veined with pale quartz that catches the faint lantern light like frozen lightning. The ceiling curves high overhead, forming a dome without a single seam. At its center, a wide circle has been etched into the stone floor, a ring of sigils I spent years memorizing but never dared draw myself. Inside the circle sits the table. Not a table, an altar. It is made of white bone, smoothed and polished until it gleams like marble. Every piece interlocked with the next, ribs and femurs and vertebrae fused in uncanny harmony, as though a skeleton larger than any human had collapsed here and been shaped into furniture. On its surface rests a basin of obsidian. The basin is empty, but even from where I stand, I can feel the hum. A resonance. The first call. I take one step forward. Then another. The soles of my boots scuff against the basalt floor, too loud in the silence. I should not be afraid, this is what I've trained for, studied until my fingers cramped from tracing sigils in chalk and my eyes blurred from candlelight. And yet my chest is tight. The vessel is waiting. They call it that, though it isn't truly an object. It's the thing I choose to be the anchor for the ghost. A shell strong enough to bear the weight of a soul. The ritual cannot begin until the apprentice selects the vessel and sets it inside the basin. No one chooses the same vessel twice, that is one of the oldest rules. The vessel must come from the apprentice's own hand, their own life. I kneel by the altar, brushing my fingers across the rim of the basin. The surface is smooth, icy despite the still warmth of the room. My reflection shivers across the black glass, a pale face framed by dark hair, eyes that look older than 17 years, lips drawn tight as though I'm holding back something that might escape if I'm careless. I lower my pack to the floor and unfasten the leather straps. Inside, the object I brought. My choice. My vessel. A locket. It's tarnished now, silver dulled to a shadow of itself, but I polish it with my thumb until the faint outline of the engraving shows through, a crescent moon, thin and delicate, curving around the suggestion of a star. The clasp sticks, as it always does, but with pressure it yields. Inside, a curl of dark hair, bound with a thread so fine it's almost invisible. I don't look too long. I never do. My chest burns as though I've swallowed smoke. I close the locket again and set it into the basin. It lands with a sound too loud for such a small thing, like a bell tolling far away. The vessel is chosen. The air shifts. The sigils around the circle stir faintly, glowing with pale light that creeps across the floor like veins waking under skin. I hear a faint whisper, though no mouth speaks. A promise or a warning. The first step is complete. I straighten, brushing my hands against my skirts, though they aren't dirty. It gives me something to do. Corvin once told me the ritual feels different for each apprentice. Some say it burns, some say it drowns, some say it feels like nothing at all until the very end. but all of them say the first step is the hardest. Because once the vessel is chosen, it cannot be unchosen. The circle hums now, faintly, like the low note of a bowed string. The quartz veins in the wall answer with their own shimmer. I try to steady my breathing, try to believe this is only an exam, nothing more. But my heart won't listen. It pounds like it knows what comes next. In my mind, I hear Corvin's voice, "A ghost is not born of death, Iris. It is made of the things we cannot bury. Remember that." I close my eyes, and I whisper back, "I remember." They told me the chamber would feel colder than the grave, but when I step inside, it is not cold at all. It is still. Stillness so deep it presses against my skin like another layer of flesh. My breath curls in the silence, heavy with salt. The air tastes faintly metallic, as though I've bitten my tongue. Master Corvin doesn't follow me in. He lingers at the threshold, one hand gripping the iron frame of the doorway. His nails are dark with soot, as though he's been working the forges again, though he told me yesterday that the exam chamber hadn't been opened in years. His eyes catch mine briefly, gray and unwavering, and then he looks away, leaving me to face the stillness alone. The door shuts with a sigh. I hear the bolts slotting into place. No going back now. It takes a moment for my eyes to adjust. The chamber is not large, but the walls are carved from black basalt and veined with pale quartz that catches the faint lantern light like frozen lightning. The ceiling curves high overhead, forming a dome without a single seam. At its center, a wide circle has been etched into the stone floor, a ring of sigils I spent years memorizing but never dared draw myself. Inside the circle sits the table. Not a table, an altar. It is made of white bone, smoothed and polished until it gleams like marble. Every piece interlocked with the next, ribs and femurs and vertebrae fused in uncanny harmony, as though a skeleton larger than any human had collapsed here and been shaped into furniture. On its surface rests a basin of obsidian. The basin is empty, but even from where I stand, I can feel the hum. A resonance. The first call. I take one step forward. Then another. The soles of my boots scuff against the basalt floor, too loud in the silence. I should not be afraid, this is what I've trained for, studied until my fingers cramped from tracing sigils in chalk and my eyes blurred from candlelight. And yet my chest is tight. The vessel is waiting. They call it that, though it isn't truly an object. It's the thing I choose to be the anchor for the ghost. A shell strong enough to bear the weight of a soul. The ritual cannot begin until the apprentice selects the vessel and sets it inside the basin. No one chooses the same vessel twice, that is one of the oldest rules. The vessel must come from the apprentice's own hand, their own life. I kneel by the altar, brushing my fingers across the rim of the basin. The surface is smooth, icy despite the still warmth of the room. My reflection shivers across the black glass, a pale face framed by dark hair, eyes that look older than 17 years, lips drawn tight as though I'm holding back something that might escape if I'm careless. I lower my pack to the floor and unfasten the leather straps. Inside, the object I brought. My choice. My vessel. A locket. It's tarnished now, silver dulled to a shadow of itself, but I polish it with my thumb until the faint outline of the engraving shows through, a crescent moon, thin and delicate, curving around the suggestion of a star. The clasp sticks, as it always does, but with pressure it yields. Inside, a curl of dark hair, bound with a thread so fine it's almost invisible. I don't look too long. I never do. My chest burns as though I've swallowed smoke. I close the locket again and set it into the basin. It lands with a sound too loud for such a small thing, like a bell tolling far away. The vessel is chosen. The air shifts. The sigils around the circle stir faintly, glowing with pale light that creeps across the floor like veins waking under skin. I hear a faint whisper, though no mouth speaks. A promise or a warning. The first step is complete. I straighten, brushing my hands against my skirts, though they aren't dirty. It gives me something to do. Corvin once told me the ritual feels different for each apprentice. Some say it burns, some say it drowns, some say it feels like nothing at all until the very end. But all of them say the first step is the hardest. Because once the vessel is chosen, it cannot be unchosen. The circle hums now, faintly, like the low note of a bowed string. The quartz veins in the wall answer with their own shimmer. I try to steady my breathing, try to believe this is only an exam, nothing more. But my heart won't listen. It pounds like it knows what comes next. In my mind, I hear Corvin's voice, "A ghost is not born of death, Iris. It is made of the things we cannot bury. Remember that." I close my eyes and I whisper back, "I remember." The chamber seems to listen. The silence thickens, settling into the cracks of my bones. My knees ache against the stone floor, but I don't move. I've read the first words of the invocation 100 times, written them on scraps until the paper tore through, whispered them into the hollow of my hands when no one could hear. Saying them now should be easy. It isn't. Because the vessel is not just a choice. It is a confession. My hand trembles as I lift the silver locket from the basin again, holding it above my chest. The sigils at the circle's edge flare in answer, their light climbing the walls until the entire chamber is painted in faint, living glow. I whisper the first word, the second, the third. Each syllable tastes like blood. The locket grows warm in my hand. I close my fingers tight, as though I can keep its secret sealed, but the heat seeps through my skin. I feel it thrum against my pulse. The ritual accepts my choice. I force my eyes open, staring into the basin as the locket begins to shine faintly, silver burning brighter than it has in years. For a heartbeat, the image reflected in the black obsidian isn't mine at all. It's hers. I nearly drop the locket, but my grip locks. Breath shatters in my throat. The face vanishes before I can be sure. Just a trick of the glow, I tell myself. Just the chamber playing games. But the echo of her voice whispers inside my head, "You shouldn't have brought me here." My pulse stumbles. I glance at the door, but it remains sealed, bolt sunk deep into stone. There is no one else. Only me. Only the vessel. Only the memory I swore I'd never speak aloud. The ritual wants truth. It always has. That's why the vessel must be something of our own life, something bound to us so closely we can't pretend we don't bleed when it's touched. I thought I could do this. Thought I could hide behind practiced words and careful gestures, just long enough to pass. But already, the chamber is stripping me bare. I lean over the basin and whisper, softer than breath, "Please, not yet." The glow dims a little, as though listening. Waiting. I press the locket to my chest, eyes closed, forcing steadiness into my breath. The first step is only the choosing. Tomorrow, or the next day, or whenever Corvin judges I'm ready, I'll move on to the second, the name. Tonight, all I have to do is survive the weight of this choice. The vessel hums faintly in my hand, like a heartbeat answering my own. I lay it back into the basin, careful, reverent. The sigils sink back into shadow. The air settles. My reflection returns. My hands are shaking. The first step is complete. And for the first time, I'm not sure I want to take the second. Chapter 2, The Name. When the door opened this morning, I almost didn't rise. I'd dreamt the chamber all night, the locket burning against my chest even while it lay in the basin. I woke to the sound of my own breath breaking, sure the whisper I'd heard yesterday would follow me into waking. But it didn't. The whisper kept its distance. The silence after was almost worse. Master Corvin didn't speak as I entered the hall. He never does before the second step. His silence is a weight heavier than words, pressing down on my shoulders as he led me back to the black basalt chamber. Now I stand again before the altar, the vessel gleams faintly in the basin. Waiting. I rub my hands together, not for warmth but to steady them. The second step is the naming. It's supposed to be the most dangerous. Corvin told me that once, in a moment when I think he forgot how careful he usually is with his words. A ghost without a true name, he said, isn't bound. It wanders. And wanderers never stay quiet for long. I try to swallow, but my throat is dry. The quartz veins in the walls pulse faintly, answering some hidden rhythm. The sigils etched into the stone floor glow again, their lines bright as moonlight. I kneel before the altar. My knees ache already, though I barely touched the stone. I rest my palms against the rim of the basin and let my gaze fall into its depths. The black surface holds no reflection this time, only a void, dark and endless. The locket lies at the center, its crescent and star engraving glimmering faintly. As though it, too, is waiting for me to speak. I draw a breath and I whisper the invocation. The words roll from my tongue like water over stone, syllables I practiced until my lips could form them without thought. Each one carries weight. Each one is older than memory. They are not meant to be beautiful, only binding. The chamber listens. The air stirs. The faintest of breezes curls around my wrists, lifting the fine hairs of my skin. The quartz veins flare brighter. The sigils thrum, low and resonant. A name waits in my throat. Not the one I practiced. Not the false syllables I invented in the long hours of study, the safe mask I meant to place over this ghost's face. No. The name that rises is sharper. Older. Mine. Her name. I choke it back. The word burns, clawing at my tongue, desperate to escape. I clamp my teeth together until my jaw aches. Corvin's voice echoes in my head, not a memory but a living warning. The ghost is only as strong as the truth you give it. Lie, and it will know. Hide, and it will tear the truth from you by force. I want to scream at him that I don't want to give it truth. I want to pass this exam, nothing more. I want the sigils to fade, the basin to still, the vessel to turn silent and cold so I can walk away with my title and never speak of this again. But the ritual is patient. It waits. I rest my forehead against the altar, the bone smooth and cool beneath my skin. My chest heaves. The silence is unbearable. And then I hear it. A breath not mine, soft, close, curling at the edge of my ear. Say it. I jerk upright. My eyes dart to the walls, the ceiling, the sealed iron door. No one. No one but me. And yet the air carries the warmth of that breath, the intimacy of lips almost brushing skin. The vessel glows faintly now, the locket's silver light pulsing in rhythm with my own heartbeat. Say it, Iris. Her voice. I press my shaking hands against my chest. Not yet, I whisper. The sigils flare in answer, harsh and demanding. My refusal is not enough. The ritual knows. I try again, louder, sharper. Not yet. The light dims a fraction. The pressure eases, just enough for me to breathe. My pulse thunders in my ears. I open the locket, the curl of hair inside stares back at me, mute accusation bound with thread. I stroke it once with the tip of my finger. My throat aches with the weight of the name pressing against it. Leora, I almost say, almost. Instead, I whisper the name I practiced. A false one. Hollow, borrowed. Calwyn. The basin shudders. The sigils flare, then falter. The quartz veins flicker like a failing flame. The chamber knows I lied. The whisper comes again, soft as a blade sliding free of its sheath. Coward. Tears sting my eyes. I slam the locket shut and clutch it tight, bowing over the basin. Please, I whisper. Please, not yet. I'm not ready. The silence holds me and then, slowly, the glow steadies. The hum of the sigil softens. The ritual accepts my offering. Not gladly. Not fully. But enough. I collapse back onto my heels, shaking. My chest feels hollow, as though I left a piece of myself in the basin along with that false name. Perhaps I did. When the bolts draw back and the door opens again, I can't meet Corvin's eyes. He doesn't ask if I spoke the truth. He doesn't have to. He only says, in that low voice that carries more weight than shouting, "You cannot delay the truth forever, Iris." I don't answer, because the whisper inside me already has. You will say my name. And when you do, I will come back. Chapter 3, The Voice. They woke me before dawn. Or maybe I never truly slept. The hours between the naming and now were too restless to call rest, too filled with the soft echo of a voice that was not mine. I lay in my narrow cot listening for footsteps outside my door, listening for the familiar scrape of the warded lock sliding open. I told myself the silence meant safety. But silence isn't safety here. It's the chamber waiting. Corvin didn't meet me in the hall this time. He was already inside, a dark silhouette against the quartz-veined walls, his gray eyes watching as I entered. He didn't speak a greeting. He never does after the second step. Words, he once said, lose their shape when you're close enough to truth. Better to keep them locked away until the ritual demands them. The sigils around the floor were already glowing when I crossed the threshold, a steady silver that made the chamber look less like stone and more like the inside of some vast, cold heart. The vessel still rested in the basin. The locket glimmered faintly, as though it had been dreaming too. This is the step of the voice. Corvin explained it years ago when I was still too young to understand. You give the ghost a tongue. Not words, not yet. Just the means to speak. Without it, the vessel is mute. With it, the vessel can answer you. The way he said answer left me shivering. I approach the altar and kneel, the bone surface gleaming under the silver light. My knees have already started to bruise from yesterday's vigil, but I don't let myself flinch. I lay both hands on the basin's rim. The black surface ripples faintly, as though the obsidian were liquid. The locket hums under my touch. My instructions were simple: sing not a song I know, not a song taught. The ritual doesn't accept rehearsed melody. It wants the first sound that comes when you let go of fear. Easier said than done. My lips part. The first breath curls warm in my throat, but no note escapes. Only silence. Corvin's eyes on me are await. I close my eyes and try again. A single note slips out, thin and wavering, cracking halfway through. Embarrassment burns in my chest. I tighten my fists. The sigils dim, unimpressed. Again, Corvin says, the first word he's spoken in days. His voice is low, stripped of judgment. A command, nothing more. So I breathe again, and this time I don't try to shape the note. I let it rise raw and trembling, nothing but the sound of breath breaking against my ribs. It wavers, slides, catches on the edge of sob. The chamber listens. The quartz veins blaze brighter, their light crawling higher across the walls. The basin ripples once more. The locket vibrates against the stone. And then, another note joins mine. Not from Corvin. Not from me, from the vessel. It's faint, like an echo traveling from deep underground, but it threads into my sound perfectly, as if it had been waiting for me to give it the chance. My throat tightens. I almost stop, but the echo presses forward, coaxing me to continue. So I do. The melody weaves itself between us, not rehearsed, not remembered, just born in the moment. The ghost shaping itself through my breath. My lungs ache, but I don't dare stop. The sound builds, layering soft hum against hum, until the chamber is filled with music that doesn't belong to one voice alone. My chest burns. The air tastes like copper. My vision blurs. And then I hear words. Not sung, not spoken, but formed in the echo of the sound itself. Iris. I nearly break the note. The vessel is speaking. You shouldn't have lied to me. Tears spring to my eyes. I choke on the next note, the melody faltering. The glow of the sigil stutters, as though the ritual itself is offended by my hesitation. The vessel waits, the whisper presses closer. Say my name. I shake my head, breath breaking. No, I rasp, voice hoarse from the strain. Not yet. The glow falters again. My throat aches as though I've swallowed glass. My chest feels split open. The echo voice doesn't press further. It softens, sliding into silence, leaving only my ragged breathing behind. The chamber dims, the quartz veins fading back to their faint shimmer. The basin stills. The vessel lies quiet. The third step is complete. I collapse against the altar, forehead pressed to the cold bone, body trembling. My lips taste of salt. Corvin's shadow moves behind me, his presence heavy and unreadable. He doesn't touch me, doesn't speak, only watches. At last, his voice, it has a tongue now. Be careful what you let it say. I nod, though the motion feels fragile. My chest is still full of the echo of that voice, her voice, soft and insistent. When I leave the chamber, the silence follows me like a shadow, but in the quiet of my own thoughts, I hear her anyway. You can't keep me quiet forever. Chapter 4, The Memory. The chamber smells different today, not of salt and stone, not of stillness and bone, but of smoke. Faint, almost imagined. A ghost of fire lingering where no flame burns. It coils in my throat as I step inside, making my eyes sting, though the air looks clear. Corvin doesn't enter this time. He stands just outside the threshold, hand pressed flat to the iron door as it shuts between us. For an instant, I think I see regret on his face. But then the bolts lock, and I'm alone again. The altar waits, vessel gleaming faintly in the basin. The sigils flare before I've even knelt. The ritual is impatient. It knows what comes next. The fourth step, the memory. The words come back to me, lessons inked into parchment years ago. A ghost without memory is no ghost at all. To give it life, you must give it the thread of your own. Not a scrap you can live without. Not a shallow scene. It must be something that still bleeds when you touch it. I've dreaded this step more than the others. More than the naming. More than the voice. Because I can't choose carefully. I can't prepare. The ritual will take what I truly offer, not what I pretend to. I kneel. My knees ache worse now, bruises deepening each day. I press my palms against the rim of the basin. The black surface ripples like dark water. The locket shivers faintly. My throat is tight, my heart racing. I whisper the invocation, the syllables heavy on my tongue. The sigils blaze brighter. Give me, I murmur, a memory that endures. The basin responds. Its surface glows pale, like moonlight spilling across a pond. The vessel stirs, its silver face reflecting not me but shadows curling like smoke. A warmth presses behind my eyes. Not pain. Not yet. Just pressure. The ritual digging into me. Searching. And then? I'm not in the chamber anymore. The basalt and quartz dissolve. I stand on grass damp with dew, the scent of wet earth sharp in the morning air. The sky is pale, streaked with the first colors of dawn. The sound of laughter drifts through the air, light, quick, a sound I know better than my own heartbeat. I don't want to look, but I do. She's there. Leora, her dark hair loose down her back, strands catching the sunrise like threads of flame. She's barefoot, her skirt brushing the tops of the grass, and her hands are outstretched, beckoning me forward. Come on, she calls, her smile so bright it hurts. Before the sun's too high. You promised. The word twists like a knife. I know this day. I've tried to bury it so deep it could never surface again. But the ritual doesn't care about what I tried. It only cares about what still bleeds. I take one step toward her, then another. My chest aches. She turns, running ahead, her laughter scattering like sparks in the wind. My breath catches in my throat. I want to follow. I want to stay here forever, in this memory where her voice is still alive, where her smile still shines. But I know how this ends. The air thickens. The grass wilts under my feet. The sky darkens, streaked with smoke. Her laughter falters. She turns back toward me, eyes wide, mouth open as though to warn me. And the memory shatters. I'm back in the chamber, on my knees before the altar, gasping like I've surfaced from drowning. Tears streak my face, hot and relentless. My hands grip the basin so tightly my knuckles are white. The vessel glows, pulsing with the stolen memory. The locket's silver gleams brighter than ever, as though alive. I whisper her name before I can stop myself. Leora. The chamber hums, satisfied. The sigils flare, veins of quartz blazing silver white. And her voice fills the air. You promised you wouldn't forget me. I bite down on a sob. I didn't. Then why did you lie? My chest feels split open. Because if I told the truth, I'd never survive it. The whisper softens, but it doesn't fade. You already gave me back the day. You can't take it from me now. The vessel quiets, though the glow remains. The sigils settle into steady light. The ritual accepts the memory. I collapse against the altar, breath ragged, eyes stinging. The chamber is silent again, but the echo of her laughter, half joy, half plea, lingers in my ears. The fourth step is complete. When the bolts draw back and the door opens, Corvin looks at me long and hard. He says nothing. But I see the flicker of pity in his eyes before he turns away. I wipe my face with the back of my sleeve. My hands still shake. And in the hollow quiet, her whisper curls close again. You can't hide from me anymore. Chapter 5, The Heart. The chamber waits like a wound that never closes. Every step I take toward the altar echoes in my bones. The quartz veins in the walls pulse faintly, not the cool silver of the first steps but a warmer glow now, tinged with faint red. It feels less like moonlight and more like blood rushing under skin. Corvin is not here. He hasn't been since yesterday. The silence where he should be is its own kind of weight. I don't know if he's testing me, or if he simply doesn't want to witness what comes next. The vessel gleams in the basin. The locket. The hair bound in thread. The memory I surrendered still burns behind my eyes, the shape of Leora's smile like a blade I can't stop pressing into. Today is the heart. To make a ghost, Corvin once told me, you must give it more than shape, more than sound, more than recollection. You must give it the pulse that moves a soul, love, grief, rage, any flame strong enough to burn without end. I didn't ask him then what happens if the flame consumes you too. I was younger, eager, still foolish enough to believe I'd be in control. Now, kneeling at the altar, I'm not so sure. The sigils stir as I touch the basin. The vessel hums under my fingertips. I whisper the invocation. The syllables claw my throat raw. The basin's surface ripples. The locket lifts slightly, suspended in the air as though unseen hands cradle it. My pulse stumbles. The chamber presses inward, demanding. What will you give? I close my eyes. I try to summon calm, but my chest is already burning. The memory of her laughter floods back unbidden. The way her eyes caught the light, always bright, always searching. The warmth of her hand slipping into mine. The breathless way she whispered my name. I can't stop the tears. The vessel glows. Its pulse aligns with mine. And then I feel it, her heartbeat. Not through my ears, not through the floor, but inside me. A rhythm layered over my own. Two pulses, tangled. I can't, I whisper. You can. Her voice, soft, steady, the way it always was when I doubted. I'll lose myself. That's the point. The vessel burns brighter. The basin trembles. The sigils flare into white fire, searing the edges of my vision. I clutch at the altar, breath ragged, as the ritual pulls from me. Not just memory. Not just thought. Emotion itself, drawn like blood from a wound. Love, grief, longing so fierce it feels like my chest will split open. The chamber drinks it all. The vessel glows as though lit from within, the silver burning hot white. My pulse stutters, weak and frantic. And then, her laughter. Not remembered this time. Real. It rings through the chamber, clear and bright, just as it once did. I gasp. Leora. I'm here. The voice is not whisper now. It's strong. Alive. I fall forward against the altar, forehead pressed to the cold bone. My tears drip onto the surface, vanishing in the heat of the glow. I miss you, I sob. I know. I didn't mean to, my throat closes on the words. You did. Her tone is not cruel. Not accusing. Just true. The vessel flares once more, then settles, steady and bright. The sigils hum like a heartbeat. The chamber stills. The fifth step is complete. I collapse back onto my heels, chest heaving, hands trembling so badly I can barely hold myself upright. The vessel glows softly, like a lantern in the dark. Alive. For a long time, I can't move. My chest aches as though something vital has been torn out and placed into the basin. Maybe it has. When at last the bolts slide back, the door creaks open. Corvin's shadow spills across the floor, but he doesn't enter. His voice drifts through the gap, rough, unreadable. It feels like love now, he says. Be certain it doesn't turn into chains. I don't answer. I don't know how. Because in the hollow of my chest, where my heart should be, I still feel hers beating. Chapter 6, The Shadow. The chamber greets me like a mirror that hates what it sees. The quartz veins don't glow silver tonight. They gleam black, like wet ink spreading through cracks in the stone. The sigils etched in the floor burn faintly red, as though they'd been carved into flesh instead of basalt. The air is heavy, heavier than before, pressing down until my breath feels too thin to sustain me. Corvin doesn't meet my eyes when he opens the iron door. He only says, "The shadow doesn't wait." Then he leaves me to it. The bolt slams shut behind me. I approach the altar with steps that feel too loud, though the chamber itself seems to swallow sound. The vessel waits in the basin. The locket gleams faintly, still pulsing with the rhythm I gave it yesterday. My chest aches with every beat. The sixth step, the shadow. I know the words on the page. To bind a ghost, one must bind its darkness. Not only the truth of memory, nor the heat of love, but the flaws and fears that shape the soul. Without shadow, it cannot stand. With too much, it cannot be controlled. I kneel. The bone altar is colder tonight. My knees feel as though they're sinking into ice. I lay both hands on the basin's rim. The invocation claws up my throat. My lips shape the syllables, each one sharp as broken glass. The sigils blaze, their glow curling up the walls like veins of fire. The vessel rises slightly, silver locket trembling as though caught between two unseen hands. And the chamber exhales. The air tastes of ash. A voice curls out of the silence, not whisper now, not echo, but clear. Are you ready to see what you hide, Iris? My pulse stumbles. No. That is the wrong answer. The basin darkens, the glow sinking into blackness deeper than obsidian. I lean closer without meaning to, as though pulled. The surface reflects not me this time, but fragments, like shards of glass tumbling through water. The first shard shows my hands. Stained red. Not with paint. Not with chalk dust from hours of sigil practice. With blood. My breath catches. No. Yes. Another shard swims into view. Leora, eyes wide with shock, mouth forming words I cannot bear to hear. Her hand slipping from mine. I choke on air. The shards swirl faster, forming a storm of images. My face twisted in denial. My lips mouthing lies. My heart burning with a love I never admitted until it was too late. I clutch at the rim of the basin. Stop. The chamber laughs. A sound like cracking stone. This is the shadow you gave me. Do not look away now. The vessel flares black, swallowing the light. The sigils burn hotter, searing my skin where my hands touch the altar. I try to pull back, but my palms stick, held fast by invisible chains. My pulse thunders in my ears. You can't keep pretending you're innocent. I didn't mean, my voice breaks. You meant every silence. Every cowardice. Every time you looked away instead of speaking my name. Tears spill down my face. The chamber grows darker still, the quartz veins pulsing like veins under bruised skin. My breath comes shallow, frantic. The vessel's glow twists, a shape forming in the darkness. A silhouette. Her silhouette. Leora steps forward out of the basin's depths. Not flesh, not quite spirit, but something between. Her eyes fix on mine, bright and merciless. I scramble back, but my knees slam into the stone floor. I can't move farther. She kneels in front of me, tilting her head. Why did you bring me here if you won't even admit what you did? I wanted, my throat closes. I wanted to see you again. So you could bury me properly? Or so you could keep me on a leash this time? The words cut. My chest caves around them. I didn't want to lose you. Her expression softens, only slightly. Then stop lying. The vessel flares bright again, silver burning through the black. The chamber's pressure eases. My palms tear free from the altar, skin raw and aching. The sigils dim back to a faint red glow. The sixth step is complete. But the shadow lingers. I can feel it coiled inside the vessel now, alive and watchful. Leora's silhouette dissolves back into the basin. The locket lies still, its silver face gleaming faintly, as if nothing happened. But the echo of her eyes remains, sharp as knives behind my ribs. When the bolts finally slide back, the door creaks open. Corvin stands in the frame, his face grave. You bound it, he says. Not a question. I nod weakly. He studies me a long moment, then adds, a ghost built only from love is fragile. A ghost built only from shadow is monstrous. Pray you found the balance. I want to ask if he thinks I did. But my throat won't let me. Because in the quiet of my chest, I still hear her voice. I'm not done with you, Iris. Chapter 7, The Face. The chamber no longer feels empty when I enter. The silence that used to crush my ears now feels occupied. Heavy, yes. But not void. I can sense her, even before I reach the altar. The vessel hums faintly in the basin, steady as a pulse. Corvin doesn't come in with me. He lingers outside, hand resting against the iron door as though ready to pull it closed the moment I cross the threshold. His eyes meet mine, sharp and steady. This is the step where you will no longer be able to look away. I want to ask him what he means, though part of me already knows. But he doesn't give me time. The door swings shut. The bolts lock. The chamber belongs to me and the ghost. The seventh step, the face. No ghost may wander faceless, the texts say. It must have a shape to anchor it to the world, or else it dissolves into nothing. The face is not chosen. It is revealed. I approach the altar slowly. My knees throb from yesterday's bruises, but I kneel all the same. The vessel lies in the basin, still as death, yet thrumming faintly under the air. I lay my palms on the rim. The bone feels warmer than usual, as though it remembers my touch. My breath hitches as I whisper the invocation. The sigils blaze, not silver, not red, but white-hot, searing the chamber with light. The quartz veins flare, their glow spilling up the walls until it seems as though I kneel inside a lantern. The locket trembles. The basin's black surface ripples once, then again, then bursts outward, not with water, but with light. The vessel lifts, spinning slowly, silver gleaming like a star. And then the air begins to shape. The light threads itself together, weaving form from nothing, shoulders, arms, the curve of a face. My heart slams against my ribs as details sharpen. Dark hair. Pale skin. Eyes I know better than my own reflection. Leora. Her name escapes before I can stop it. The glow softens, leaving her kneeling across from me. Not quite solid, not quite ghost, but there. Her face the same as in the memory I surrendered. Her lips curved, though not in a smile. My breath breaks. It's you. She tilts her head. Her eyes are steady, unblinking. You made me. Why are you surprised I look like myself? I didn't, I swallow hard. I didn't mean to. Didn't you? Her hand rises slowly, reaching across the basin. I flinch, but she stops just short of touching me. The air between us hums, charged. You gave me your memory. Your heart. Your shadow. What face could I wear but mine? Tears sting my eyes. Because I wanted, the words die on my tongue. Say it. My throat aches. I wanted you back. Her expression doesn't change. Not soft. Not cruel. Just steady. Then stop pretending you didn't choose this. I reach out before I can think. My fingers pass through hers, not empty, not solid, something in between, like mist charged with heat. The sensation rushes up my arm, setting every nerve alight. She leans closer. Do you know what comes next? I shake my head. Her lips almost brush my ear. When you give me a face, you give me the right to look at you. And I will see what you've been hiding. The vessel pulses brighter, the locket glowing like a heart of fire at her chest. My pulse falters. The sigils thrum, approving, demanding. The ghost's face is set.it is hers. The seventh step is complete. I draw my hand back, trembling, though the echo of her touch still burns. The chamber dims slightly, the light retreating to its veins and lines, leaving her shape hovering, steady and watchful. The bolts grind open. The door creaks. Corvin stands in the frame, his expression grave. His eyes flick to the ghost and back to me. You've reached the point of no return, he says quietly. Every step after this, she will no longer only answer. She will ask. I nod, though my throat is too tight for words. Because even as he speaks, her gaze fixes on me, unrelenting, and in my chest, I feel her voice like a second heartbeat. You can't run from me now. Chapter 8, The Breath. The first thing I notice is that the chamber is no longer still. The air moves, not a breeze from the bolted iron door, not the faint stir of my own breath. This is different, like the whole chamber itself is inhaling, exhaling, the walls swelling faintly with each unseen breath. Corvin doesn't follow me inside. He hasn't since the face. But I know he's standing on the other side of the door, listening, ready if something goes wrong. His absence feels deliberate. He wants me to be afraid. He wants me to understand what it means for the ghost to breathe. The vessel glimmers faintly in the basin, but it no longer lies still. The silver locket rises and falls, as though carried by invisible lungs. The 8th step, the breath. To awaken a ghost, you must give it breath. Without it, the face is only a mask. With it, the mask learns to move. I kneel at the altar, though my knees protest with bruised fire. My palms rest on the rim of the basin. The bone feels warm now, almost feverish. I whisper the invocation. The sigils blaze bright, flooding the chamber with light. The quartz veins flare, their glow curling higher up the walls until it feels like the chamber itself is alive. The vessel trembles, then rises slowly out of the basin, suspended in air. And she exhales. I don't hear the breath. I feel it. A rush of warmth across my skin, a ripple through the marrow of my bones. My pulse stumbles, matching hers. Her face, the face I gave her yesterday, opens its eyes. Leora's eyes. They meet mine, sharp and unyielding. Iris. Her voice. Not whispered, not imagined. Spoken. Out loud. My throat closes. You can. Speak. She finishes for me, lips curving faintly. You gave me a tongue. You gave me a heart. Did you think I would stay silent forever? Tears sting my eyes. I wasn't ready. You were never going to be ready. She shifts, the glow around her shape brightening as she moves her hands, real motion, not just the illusion of form. Her fingers brush the rim of the basin. The bone hisses faintly under her touch, as though seared. Stop, I whisper. She tilts her head. Why? You made me. Isn't this what you wanted? The vessel hums louder. The air thickens. I can't tell if I'm breathing or if she's breathing for me. You're not, my chest aches. You're not supposed to be this real. You gave me everything I needed to be real. She leans closer, breath warm against my cheek though she shouldn't have breath at all. What are you so afraid of? My voice shakes. That I won't be able to let you go. Her eyes soften, not kind, not cruel, just knowing. You never let me go. That's why I'm here. The sigils thrum like a heartbeat. The quartz veins blaze white hot. The chamber exhales again, filling me with air that isn't mine. And for one terrifying, shattering moment, I breathe in with her. Her lungs become mine. Her heartbeat threads through my chest. Her presence fills me until I can't tell where I end and she begins. I gasp, tearing back, hands clutching the altar. The vessel dims, settling into steady glow, though her form remains. Her eyes don't leave me. The 8th step is complete. I collapse onto my heels, chest heaving. My body feels invaded, as though someone else has been living in it. Maybe she has. When the bolts finally grind open, Corvin steps inside just enough to see her standing there, her form steady, her gaze unwavering. His mouth tightens. She's breathing, he says. Not a question. I nod, unable to speak. He studies me for a long moment, then says, from this point, she is not only yours. She is herself. Remember that. I want to ask what he means. But I don't need to. Because even after he leaves, even after the door shuts again, her voice curls softly into my thoughts. You can't put me back now, Iris. I won't fit in the silence again. Chapter 9, The Bond. By the time I reach the chamber again, I already feel her waiting. It's not the empty pressure I used to sense, the vague awareness of something listening. It's closer now. A weight curled around the edges of my thoughts, patient, steady, impossible to shake. As though she's pacing in a room inside me, waiting for the lock to turn. The quartz veins glow brighter tonight, white threaded with a faint blush of crimson. The sigils pulse slowly, like a heartbeat I can't quite match. The chamber feels less like a place and more like a body. And I'm standing inside it. Corvin lingers at the threshold. He doesn't enter. He doesn't even look at me. His eyes fix on the glowing veins in the walls, his jaw set tight. The bond is not for the faint of will. If you falter, she will not stop. My breath catches. What happens if I? You won't. He cuts me off. His voice is sharp, final. Then the iron door slams, bolts locking me in. I turn toward the altar. The vessel waits in the basin. But it's not still anymore. She's there already. Standing. Watching. Her face, Leora's face, steady, almost serene. You came back. Her voice wraps around me like silk, soft and inevitable. I kneel, though my knees scream with pain from all the days before. My palms find the bone rim of the basin. The surface ripples once under my touch. The ninth step, the bond. No ghost can remain without tethering. The maker and the maid must share a cord, invisible but binding, or else the ghost dissolves. But beware, the stronger the bond, the more the ghost will walk where you walk, think where you think. I whisper the invocation. My throat is raw, every syllable scraping. The sigils blaze, their light pouring up the walls in streams. The vessel hums, low and resonant. Her hand rises. She extends it across the basin, palm open, fingers trembling faintly. All you have to do is take it. My breath falters. I'm afraid. So am I. Her honesty disarms me. I lift my hand, slowly, painfully. The moment my fingers brush hers, the world shifts. A thread unspools between us, bright, sharp, unbreakable. It latches from my chest to hers, a tether glowing white-hot. The moment it binds, I gasp. Her breath fills my lungs. Her heartbeat surges through me. And more, her thoughts. A rush of feeling not my own floods in, grief, longing, rage sharp enough to bleed, love so fierce it claws at bone. I try to pull back, but the tether holds fast. The chamber roars with its energy. The quartz veins blaze brighter, the sigils burning like stars. Her voice cuts through the rush. Don't fight me. My words collapse under the weight of her emotions. It's too much. You gave me your memory. Your heart. Your shadow. You knew this was coming. Her face draws close. Our foreheads almost touch. Her breath is warm, real. Let me in, Iris. The tether tightens, sinking deeper, threading through marrow and thought alike. I see flashes, her laughter, the day by the grass, her eyes wide in fear, the moment her hand slipped from mine. The sound of her voice saying my name, once with joy, once with accusation. And then, her memory, not mine. The darkness after. The cold silence. The ache of being nowhere, nothing. The terror of vanishing. Her desperate clawing against that void. Until me. Until now. I cry out, clutching at the rim. Stop, please. You wanted me back. You promised. My chest burns. My vision blurs. The tether feels too strong, pulling me down into her. And then, sudden stillness. Her hand squeezes mine. Gentle. Steady. Breathe with me. I try. The air scrapes my throat, but it comes. The tether steadies. The storm eases, though the thread still glows bright, still thrums with her life inside me. The vessel settles. The chamber dims slightly, its light easing to a steady glow. The ninth step is complete. I collapse against the altar, trembling, barely able to stay upright. She kneels across from me, her hand still clasping mine, her eyes luminous. Now we're tied, she whispers. You can't leave me, Iris. Not ever again. The bolts grind open. Corvin appears in the frame, his gaze darting between us. His face is unreadable. "You've done it," he says at last. "But remember, she is not a tool. She is a mirror. Whatever you hide from yourself, she will show you." He shuts the door again without waiting for my answer. I don't need to speak. Because the tether inside me hums with her voice, soft and relentless. "And I'm not finished with you yet." Chapter 10, The Question. The chamber is already awake when I arrive. The quartz veins shimmer with restless light, shifting in waves like a pulse too fast to calm. The sigils burn steady white, brighter than I've ever seen them, their glow chasing every shadow into the corners. The air is taut, humming, alive. And she's waiting. No vessel this time. No locket lying in the basin. She stands at the altar already, as though she belongs there. Her form steady. Her eyes fixed on me the instant I step inside. "You're late." Her voice isn't angry. It's amused, almost teasing. But the weight of it presses into my chest all the same. My throat closes around excuses. "I came as soon as I could." Her lips curve faintly. "You always say that." I want to argue. But the bond throbs between us, hot and insistent, carrying not only her words but the ache beneath them. The disappointment. The grief. My knees buckle before I even reach the altar. I kneel hard against the bone floor, breath shallow, palms trembling as I press them to the rim of the basin. My bruises scream, but I don't dare falter. The 10th step, the question. No ghost is complete without knowing why it was made. The maker must answer. The ghost must ask. The invocation tastes of ash as I speak it. The chamber brightens, veins of light racing up the walls. The sigils blaze like suns. The tether between us pulls taut, thrumming with demand. Her voice sharpens. "Why did you make me?" The words slam into me like a blow. I try to breathe. I wanted the truth, Iris. My chest tightens. The bond sears hotter. Flashes rush through me, memories jagged and merciless, her laughter by the grass, her scream swallowed by smoke, her eyes wide with betrayal. Tears sting my eyes. "I couldn't live without you." Her expression doesn't soften. That's not all. The tether twists, sinking deeper. I feel her inside me, her breath scraping my lungs, her heartbeat hammering through my veins, her grief knotting in my chest. "I didn't mean." "You did." The bond tightens until I gasp. My body shakes with the weight of her emotion. "Say it." I choke on air. The chamber spins. The sigils burn so bright they sear my vision. "I let you die." The words tear out of me, raw and jagged. My whole body crumples with them. The chamber falls silent. Her face doesn't change. But her eyes shine brighter, like fire catching. She kneels slowly, reaching across the basin. Her hand hovers just above mine. At last. Her fingers brush mine. The tether steadies. The burning eases, though the ache remains. "You weren't supposed to be there," I whisper. If I'd spoken, if I'd told you, my throat closes. She leans closer. "You think confession will unmake it? That telling me will set you free?" "I don't know." "Then let me tell you." The tether surges. Images crash through me, her final moments, the fear, the betrayal, the silence that followed. And underneath, her longing, not only for life, but for me. Her voice curls close, softer now. "You made me because you couldn't stand the weight of your silence. You made me because you needed someone to hear the words you never said." Tears blur my vision. I can't argue. The chamber dims slightly, the sigil settling into steady light. The vessel hums softly, though she no longer needs it. The 10th step is complete. She stays close, her breath warm against my skin though no air should carry. Her hand rests lightly over mine, her gaze unflinching. Now we're closer than ever, Iris. And I won't stop until you tell me everything. When the bolts grind open, Corvin doesn't speak. He looks at me once, looks at her, and then closes the door again without a word. I'm glad. Because even if he asked, I couldn't tell him what I just admitted. Or that her voice still whispers inside me. Confession is only the beginning. Chapter 11, The Trial. The chamber doesn't wait for me anymore. By the time I step inside, the air is already thick with her presence. Not the faint hum I used to feel, not the soft weight of her voice in the back of my mind. This is heavier. Saturated. As though every inch of stone, every glowing vein of quartz, every burning sigil has been claimed by her. She stands at the altar. Not waiting. Watching. You look tired. Her tone is gentle, almost kind. But the bond between us pulses hard, carrying not only her words but the undercurrent beneath them, concern, yes, but also satisfaction. I kneel, though my body protests. My knees are raw, my throat scraped from too many invocations, my chest still aching from the weight of yesterday's confession. The sigils flare the moment my palms touch the rim of the basin. They're bright enough now that I don't need the invocation to wake them. The ritual is already listening. Already hungry. The 11th step, the trial. No ghost is true until it proves its strength. The bond must be tested, for without trial, it breaks at the first storm. Her eyes lock on mine. Are you ready? I don't know. That's the wrong answer. The tether between us yanks taut, sharp as a chain pulled tight. My breath catches. My chest seizes. She doesn't move, but her presence surges into me, her heartbeat, her breath, her thoughts flooding my body until I can't separate them from my own. I can't, my voice fractures. Yes, you can. She steps closer. Her hand rises, ghost-pale fingers brushing my cheek. I should feel nothing. But her touch burns. Stand up. The command threads through the tether, irresistible. My legs move before I decide to. I stumble upright, my body shaking with the effort. She circles me slowly, her eyes steady. Walk. My feet obey. The altar behind me. The sigils flaring brighter with each step. The bond thrumming hotter, deeper. Fear claws my chest. Leora, please. Keep walking. My pulse stumbles. The tether tightens again, dragging me forward. My body isn't mine anymore. My will, slipping. The quartz veins blaze, their light so fierce I have to shield my eyes. The air tastes of iron. The chamber hums with approval. I try to fight it. I dig my heels against the stone. My muscles scream, but the bond pulls harder, every thread inside me yanked forward. Stop. She halts. Instantly. The tether slackens, just slightly. Enough for me to gasp a breath. Enough for me to feel the sting of tears on my face. Her expression softens. You see? I could have made you keep going. But I didn't. Because I don't want to break you, Iris. I want you to stand with me. My chest heaves. Then why force me at all? Because I had to know if you'd resist. I swallow hard. My whole body trembles. You let me die once, she whispers. I needed to know you wouldn't let me fade again. Her words cut deeper than any blade. The sigils dim, the quartz veins settling to a steadier glow. The bond still hums between us, taut but calmer. The 11th step is complete. I sink to my knees, shaking, the tether still burning in my chest. She kneels across from me, her gaze unwavering. We're stronger now, she says softly. Stronger than before. But we're not finished, Iris. Not until you give me everything. The bolts grind open. Corvin steps into the frame, eyes flicking between us. He doesn't cross the threshold. You've reached the dangerous part, he says. His voice is low, heavy. If you cannot master her, she will master you. There is no middle path. I want to answer. But the bond thrums in my chest, and her voice rises inside me, drowning out my own. Don't listen to him. Listen to me. Chapter 12, The Mirror. The chamber does not open for me. It swallows me. The moment I step inside, the door slams like a heartbeat, bolts locking without Corvin's hand. The quartz veins blaze bright silver shot through with black, like moonlight tangled with shadow. The sigils flare before I even kneel, searing the floor with light that stings my eyes. And she's already there. Not at the altar. Not in the basin, standing where I usually kneel. Waiting. Her eyes catch mine instantly, steady, unblinking. Leora. My Leora. But sharper, somehow. More vivid than I remember. You've given me almost everything. Her voice is low, almost tender. But the bond between us thrums hard, thick with something I can't name. I don't know if I have anything left, I whisper. Her lips curve faintly. You do. And I'll show you. The 12th step, the mirror. No ghost can walk until the maker sees themselves clearly. To give form is not enough. To breathe is not enough. To bond is not enough. The maker must face what they are, or the ghost will choose for them. The invocation clings like ash as I speak it. The chamber tightens around me. The sigils blaze, the quartz veins flaring white-hot. And then the air itself ripples, pulling into shape. Not her. Me. A second Iris stands in the chamber, lit from the veins and the vessel's glow. Her hair tangled, eyes ringed with shadows, lips trembling with unsaid words. She looks like I feel, raw, fractured, breaking. My chest seizes. No. Yes, Leora says softly. The tether surges, binding me tighter. I can't look away. The other Iris mirrors me exactly. When I flinch, she flinches. When I try to step back, she steps back. My breath stutters, and hers falters in perfect time. I try to turn away. The bond wrenches me back. Why are you showing me this? Because you keep pretending I'm the ghost. The words hit like stone. The mirrored Iris leans forward, her eyes wet with tears I haven't yet cried. Her lips part. My voice echoes back at me. I let her die. I choke. Stop. The mirror doesn't stop. She takes a step closer. Her tears spill over. I wanted to tell her. I wanted to love her out loud. But I was afraid. And when she needed me most, I stayed silent. My knees give out. I collapse against the bone floor, shaking. The mirror kneels too, so close I could touch her if I dared. Leora's gaze stays fixed on me. You've been building a ghost this whole time, Iris. But not of me. The chamber hums louder, the sigils blazing until they burn my vision. The bond thrums like a second pulse. My voice cracks. Then, what am I making? Her expression softens, almost pitying. Yourself. The words tear through me. The mirror reaches out, her fingers brushing mine. Not cold. Not warm. Just real. The chamber steadies. The sigils ease, their light softening to a steady glow. The mirror lingers, her eyes full of grief I can no longer deny. The 12th step is complete. Leora kneels beside me, her presence warm against my shoulder though no flesh touches. She whispers into the hollow of my chest, "You were always the ghost." I've just been waiting for you to see it. The bolts grind, the door creaks. Corvin stands in the frame, his face ashen. He takes in the mirror. He takes in me. For a long time, he doesn't speak. Then, softly, Iris, do you understand what comes next? I can't answer. Because even as I try, the mirrored Iris lifts her head and mouths the word I've feared all along. Confession. Chapter 13, The Confession. The chamber is silent. Not empty. Not still, silent in the way a final breath is silent, the way a heartbeat pauses before it stops. The quartz veins glow pale, steady, their silver light gentler now, like candle flame before dawn. The sigils shimmer faintly, waiting. And she is there. Leora. Standing at the altar. Her eyes on mine the moment I step through the door. The bond between us hums faint and steady, less like a chain, more like a thread of silk. This is it. Her voice is quiet, but it fills me as if the chamber itself has spoken. My chest tightens. I don't know if I can. She tilts her head. That's the last lie you'll tell me. The 13th step, the confession. No ghost may remain unfinished. At the end, the maker must confess the truth, not for the ghost, but for themselves. Only then will the spirit be born. Or revealed. The invocation scrapes my throat raw. The sigils flare once more, their glow flooding the chamber. The quartz veins blaze silver white, bright enough to swallow shadow. The tether surges, pulling me forward until I stand across from her at the altar. Her hand rises, palm open. Waiting. Say it, Iris. My whole body trembles. Tears already burn my eyes. The words shatter in my mouth. I was afraid. I loved you, but I never told you. And when you needed me most, I stayed silent. I thought there would be more time. I thought, my voice breaks. But there wasn't. And you died. And I let you. Her fingers brush mine, steadying me, though no warmth should linger. And then? I can hardly breathe. And then I couldn't live with it. I couldn't live at all. The sigils flare, searing bright. The tether burns through me. Images flood in, the day after, the endless silence, the ache of emptiness. My own reflection in the mirror, gaunt and lifeless. The sound of my name spoken with pity, then no longer spoken at all. Leora's eyes don't waver. Say the rest. My throat tears on the words. I died too. The chamber explodes with light. The mirrored Iris appears again, brighter, sharper. Not broken this time. Whole. Her eyes meet mine, shimmering with tears. She mouths the truth I've been circling for 13 steps. You weren't making her. You were making yourself. The tether splits, branching, one cord to her, one cord to me. My breath comes ragged, every nerve alight. I look at Leora, but her form is fading, her edges softening, her glow dimming like a star at dawn. No, wait. She smiles. Not sad. Not angry. Gentle. You don't need me to hold the shape anymore. You're the ghost, Iris. You always were. Tears spill hot down my cheeks. Then what are you? Her voice curls soft as a lullaby. The memory you gave me. The love you carried. The shadow you tried to bury. I was never the one you bound. I was the pieces you needed to see. The vessel glows once more, pulsing in the basin. But the locket is open now, its face empty. No heart inside it. The glow doesn't belong to it anymore. It belongs to me. I stagger forward, clutching the rim. The sigils burn under my hands, not searing, not punishing, welcoming. The quartz veins flare bright, as if the chamber itself exhales in relief. The mirrored Iris steps into me. For a heartbeat, I feel two selves overlap. The maker. The ghost. Then they fuse. I fall to my knees. My breath steadies. My chest feels light for the first time in forever. And Leora is gone. The tether hums soft, still inside me. Not a chain now. A memory. A love. A truth. The chamber dims, its light easing back into faint veins of silver. The sigils fade, leaving the floor bare. The ritual is complete. The bolts grind. The iron door creaks. Corvin steps inside, his eyes searching mine. He doesn't ask what I see. He doesn't need to. His gaze tells me he already knows. You finished it, he says quietly. I nod. My throat aches, but I manage to whisper, I was never making her. He bows his head. Then may you rest, at last. For the first time, the chamber feels quiet without being empty. I rise slowly, the vessel in my chest instead of the basin. The bond steady, the truth undeniable. I am not the apprentice, I am not the maker, I am the ghost. And I have finally confessed.
Thanks for listening. Stay cozy, and I'll see you in the next story.